AI anxiety, right? It's everywhere these days.
It's definitely top of mind for a lot of people.
I've had so many listeners reaching out wanting to talk about those jobs of the future.
Yeah.
And not just like the doom and gloom robots are taking over narrative.
Right.
People want to know about the opportunities. Where are the jobs that AI can't replace?
Absolutely. Everyone's looking for that roadmap.
Well, guess what? We've actually got one.
Oh.
We're diving into the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs Report 2023.
Yeah.
It's this really in-depth report packed with insights from global companies.
The data in this report is really fascinating, and it's not some distant prediction.
Exactly.
This is focused on the next 5 years.
Your job market, the one you'll be navigating very, very soon.
Yeah, this is the near future we're talking about.
Okay, so remember a while back, everyone was asking ChatGPT to predict those, like AI-proof jobs.
Right.
Turns out those AI bots weren't totally off.
Interesting.
But get this, when you look at these specific jobs projected for the most growth in the next 5 years, totally unexpected.
Okay, you've got my attention. What are we talking about here?
Ready for this? Number one, agricultural equipment operators.
Really?
Yeah, 30% growth. That's a massive increase.
Wow.
It translates to something like 3 million new jobs globally.
Wow, it's easy to picture AI as this unstoppable force, right?
Right.
But this report really highlights that human skills, they're more valuable than ever.
And those are the skills that AI struggles to replicate.
Exactly. Think about like the dexterity needed to operate complex machinery out there in the field, those unpredictable farming conditions.
Yeah.
AI can't quite match that human touch.
You know, there's a reason people say things like, AI is better at writing reports than it is at driving trucks.
It's true.
And speaking of trucks, heavy trucks and bus drivers, also high on that list.
Interesting.
Oh, and get this, vocational education teachers.
Wow. Okay. So not what you'd expect.
Not what you'd expect at all. What I found really fascinating is the report actually found that a lot of those early predictions, all the robots replacing everyone,
Right.
a little overblown.
Yeah.
Humans are a lot harder to replace than they initially thought.
It makes sense because it's not about AI versus humans, is it?
Right.
It's about understanding where those unique human skills are just irreplaceable.
And that's what's so important, I think, about this deep dive.
Yeah.
We're not just listing out a bunch of safe jobs here.
No.
We're uncovering why those jobs and the skills that they require will be so crucial in this AI-powered world.
It's all about the why.
So it's less about being afraid of job titles themselves.
Right?
And more about understanding the skills that are transferable.
Exactly. And the report highlights one, analytical thinking.
Okay.
And you might think, well, hold on. AI can analyze data.
Yeah, that's their thing.
Exactly. Incredible number crunchers. But they lack that human ability to actually interpret that data.
Right.
To apply critical thinking, to make nuanced decisions, and often ethical decisions that AI just can't handle.
It's like having, I don't know, a supercomputer that gives you a million calculations.
Right.
But you need a human to say, okay, but what does it all mean? What do we do with that?
Exactly. And what about empathy and active listening?
Yeah.
Skills AI really struggles with, but these are so vital in roles involving, counseling, anything that requires building trust.
That human connection.
Exactly, human connection. AI lacks that emotional intelligence.
And then there are things like leadership and social influence. We're talking about inspiring teams, navigating change, fostering innovation.
Right.
These are all inherently human skills.
They are.
Relying on connection, on intuition.
Yeah.
Even a little bit of charisma. You can't just, code that into an algorithm.
Exactly. It's about that human element.
And it's not just about, formal education, right?
Right.
We see this idea of lifelong learning.
Yeah.
It pops up again and again in the report. But what does that even look like in this world, where AI is so prevalent?
Well, it's about constantly upskilling, reskilling, but not necessarily in that traditional education sense. Imagine online courses that are specifically tailored to emerging technologies.
Okay.
Or mentorship programs that are connecting seasoned professionals with people just entering AI-related fields.
I see.
It's really about fostering a mindset of continuous learning.
Yeah.
Always being ready to grow.
So less about, collecting degrees.
Right.
And more about always being curious, adaptable.
Exactly. Always evolving. And think about someone in your field, marketing.
Okay.
They might take an online course on AI for market research.
Okay.
And then, concurrently join a mentorship group to share strategies with other marketing professionals.
Right.
It's that blend of formal learning and real-world application. That's what's crucial.
Yeah, it reminds me of that quote. The best way to predict the future is to create it.
I love that.
It's not about waiting to see what AI is going to throw at us.
Right.
It's about actively shaping it, how we learn, how we adapt alongside it.
And this focus on lifelong learning, it's not just on individuals.
Right.
It has to be for, society as a whole.
Yeah.
The report really emphasizes this need for governments to invest in these education and training programs, make them accessible, and businesses, they need to create a culture of continuous learning for their employees.
Yeah, it feels very collaborative.
It is a massive collaborative effort.
It's not just on individuals to figure this out.
Absolutely not. We need governments, we need businesses, we need individuals, all working together to make sure that everyone has that opportunity to thrive in this environment.
It's like that old saying, a rising tide lifts all boats.
Exactly.
This investment in education and skills development, it's not just about like individual success.
Right.
It's about creating a more prosperous world for everyone.
Absolutely.
Speaking of which, there's one sector we hear about all the time in these conversations, right?
Yeah.
Logistics.
Of course.
It's almost become synonymous with automation.
Yeah, right. With the self-driving trucks and...
Self-driving trucks, robots in warehouses.
Yeah.
But what does the report actually have to say about the future of work in logistics?
So it's interesting because, yes, automation is a factor.
Right.
But it really highlights how important human expertise still is,
Okay.
particularly as supply chains become more localized.
So even with self-driving trucks becoming more common, are we still going to need human drivers?
Yes, absolutely. Long-haul trucking might see some of that automation.
Right.
But when it comes to navigating those last few miles, in a busy city, dealing with an unexpected situation, you still need a human.
Yeah, it's like AI can build the highway,
Right.
but you need a human to navigate all those city streets.
Exactly. Yeah. And let's not forget all the other human elements to logistics.
Right.
Think about the people who are managing those really complex supply chains, optimizing routes, coordinating all those deliveries.
Troubleshooting in real time.
Exactly. Strategic thinking, problem solving, making quick decisions. You can't always program that.
Right.
And then you've got the communication, the collaboration,
Yeah.
logistics. It really involves coordinating with suppliers, with customers, everybody in between.
Right.
It's a very human-centric field.
So it sounds like even with this increasing presence of technology, the future of work in logistics is not about robots pushing humans out.
Right.
It's about humans and AI working together,
Exactly. Playing to those strengths.
each bringing their own strengths to the table.
And that's something we see across industries, don't we? It's not that AI is coming in to take over.
Right.
It's about how we can collaborate to create something that's more efficient, more innovative, ultimately more human-centered.
So we're not afraid of AI, right?
Right.
We're just trying to figure out how to make the most of it.
Exactly. We need to change the narrative. It's not AI versus humans. It's AI working with humans.
I like that. And that shift is important if we want to actually thrive in this future of work. We've been talking a lot about these skills that we're going to need. Adaptability, problem solving, creativity. But those aren't just skills you need for a job, are they?
Not at all. These are like fundamental human skills, right? They're how we find purpose and deal with challenges in life.
Totally. Technology might be able to do our taxes or whatever,
Right.
but it can't replicate those things that make us human. Empathy, compassion, our desire to find meaning in what we do.
Exactly. And that's why it's so crucial to approach all of this with optimism. Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty, but we can shape how this technology is used.
Right.
We can make sure that AI helps us so we can focus on the things that really matter.
It makes me think of that quote, the future is not something we enter. The future is something we create.
Ooh, I like that.
And this whole deep dive has given us a lot to think about as we're, building that future.
It really has. And, going back to the report, one stat really stuck with me. 50% of organizations think that AI is going to actually lead to job growth.
Wow.
Isn't that hopeful?
Yeah.
It means AI could create new opportunities, new industries, new ways of working that we haven't even imagined.
It's like instead of worrying that AI is going to take our jobs, maybe the question is, what new amazing jobs will AI create that don't even exist yet?
Exactly.
We need to be open to the possibilities.
We can't be afraid of the unknown. We've dug into the data, we've looked at the trends, we've even talked about some of the challenges. But at the end of the day, the future is not set in stone. It's what we make it.
Right.
And if we use our creativity, our resilience, our ability to innovate, humans and technology, we can thrive together.
We can build a better future for everyone. That's something worth working towards. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Thank